Tim Prister with Tim O'Malley following Brian Kelly's Georgia press conference here on Monday at Notre Dame. Needless to say, Brian Kelly believes that they're going to be going up against some really good football players this weekend. He listed just about everybody, and it's accurate. He kind of downplayed it and said, we'll put 22 guys together and travel down there and see if we can play against them. But Georgia is very good. He knows it. Everybody knows it. It's going to be a great challenge for Notre Dame this weekend.
Yeah, there's not a lot of weaknesses. Some of their strengths go directly opposed to what we think Notre Dame's weaknesses might be. It's going to be a tough outing. I think Brian Kelly, after a while, started getting asked questions about, is this a legacy builder? Is this the type of game you have to win? And then he said, maybe Kirby Smart is down there talking about how talented we are as well. So I think he might have channeled a little bit of Lou Holtz with that pregame pep talk to the media, but he's not inaccurate. I mean, they have a great quarterback, a great offensive line, great running backs, and he didn't mention that they have the best kicker in college football. So their offense is really good.
It's a good football team. There's no doubt about that. Brian Kelly was asked specifically about his offensive line. He kind of couched his comments. He didn't want to be critical of them. Said some good things about Patterson at center, the freshman. But he knows they're up against it, against a stout defensive front. And, the receivers that were running by New Mexico DBs probably aren't going to be able to do that quite as readily against Georgia. But, Notre Dame is a quality football team as well. And I believe him when he says that Kirby Smart is sitting down there saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of talent. I don't know why the offensive line hasn't been, even good yet. Necessarily. They certainly haven't been very good. I think it would be a major issue if they don't play by far their best game of the season this week. I didn't really know what Kelly meant by saying we didn't ask them to do too much against New Mexico, but maybe that's part of why they didn't look great. He might not have been employing everything. The one thing I don't get is there's no such thing as saving physicality. You don't save physicality from an offensive line or from a running back unit. So whatever they have planned for Georgia, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen. That's still a concern for me, is can they just match up physically for 60 minutes?
One player Brian Kelly and Notre Dame in general would like to see him pick up where he left off against New Mexico was Buck linebacker Asmar Bilal. Definitely played his best game in a Notre Dame uniform. Brian Kelly commended him. He also pointed out, he was asked about Drew White and said that he has done what they've asked him to do, so it's very specific as a Mike linebacker, but he spoke very highly of Bo Bauer, who once again was physical at linebacker late in the game and was productive on special teams as he usually is.
And crazy. You guys both forgot to say that he was crazy. He's fun to watch on kickoff coverage, and when he's in the right gap, he does bring some heat. I don't know if Asmar Bilal can repeat that performance against Georgia because the offensive line will be so much better and cleaner and the running backs are quicker. But at no point until this game that I think Asmar Bilal could do that against Georgia. He is trending at least in the right direction. And as we've said many times, we love the dime package. We love the 6 defensive backs. You just can't use it that much against Georgia with a 330-pound athletic lineman.
Right. Dalen Hayes, defensive end. Brian Kelly says he's playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder because of the notoriety or the acclaim that has gone apparently to Julian Okwara and Khalid Kareem. I'm not sure who else would be getting the acclaim. And that he's more focused, and that was necessary. I mean, I think Dalen Hayes would say the same thing, that early in his career he had difficulty focusing. But from a productivity standpoint, Ogundeji and Hayes have been more productive than the starting defensive ends.
Yeah, maybe that's good news going into this game. I can't imagine Okwara and Kareem not breaking out at some point. Now they're playing the toughest line they've faced. Clemson was a very good line. This Georgia line is probably a better offensive line. I'm not saying a better offense or football team. Mm-hmm. You would assume Kareem and Okwara have to be great to win this game, but it's also positive that Hayes and Ogundeji are trending that way because they have to share snaps.
It'll be all talk about Notre Dame, Georgia. We'll be taping a podcast, the Irish Illustrated Insider, right after this. Thanks for joining us.